Talking about this summer, Andy, big summer for the US women's national team. What lies in store for them at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics in Japan? They're on an incredible unbeaten run. Are they the favorites to win gold? Because obviously, recent Olympics, they struggled a little bit, but this does feel like they are the overwhelming favorites this summer, right?
Yes. Same as Mexico with the Gold Cup this summer. If anybody tries to tell you they're not the favorites or make up kind of a pre-excuse for why they might not win the tournament, ignore it. This is hands down, on paper at least, the most talented squad. The players that didn't get picked for this U.S. women's national team could probably win bronze if they put together a second team and entered into the tournament. It's, there is that much talent that's available to Vlatko Andonovski. And so, it's very unfortunate for a number of players who are more than deserving that could have, and you could even make a case that should have been on this squad, especially in the place of maybe some of the kind of more veteran players who, are not producing the same way that they did at earlier tournaments. But I think with the U.S. women's national team, the program and what individuals have given to the program over the course of 10 and 15-year career, they're always going to get that one last tournament opportunity if they want it. They're always going to get their send-off, if you will. And so, I'm talking about someone like Carly Lloyd, who's got over 300 caps for the U.S. women's national team. Nobody's denying that she's had a fantastic career and she's given so much to the program. Is she one of the 23 best players in the player pool right now? I don't know that I would say so.
When you look at this squad then, because I'm looking at some of the names through it, what can we expect from them? Because as you said, there's a lot of experience. There's, some young players coming through the ranks as well. So what can we expect? Can we expect them just to steamroll teams this summer? Because you look at the games they have and you would think they would kind of just ease into the knockout rounds and the latter stages. But the Olympics have proved that it's not always the case, is it? Certain teams will rise to the challenge, but it's difficult to expect anything other than U.S. women's national team just dominating this tournament.
Yeah, they will always get everybody's absolute best shot every time that they take the field, especially when you go to the Olympics. But the experience that they do have at hand, if you disagree that it's the most talented 23 players that are on the roster, you can absolutely say, well, they're probably the 23 players that are best suited to handle everything that comes along with trying to win gold at the Olympics, because so many of them have been there before. They have the experience. They are used to being the one with the target on their backs. And so, that's not really going to phase them. There's just so much experience within this team. I don't think they steamroll through the group stage, at least. I think they look to slowly build up and do a little bit of the squad rotation, as you see with smart teams at international tournaments. But once they get into the knockout rounds, then really put the pedal to the metal and try to, win it going away. Last time they struggled a little bit in 2016. And so I do think that they have something really to come out and prove at this tournament, to prove that, I know they won the World Cup a couple of years ago, but for them, the Olympics has always seemed to be the one that matters the most. And so I do think they want to come out and make a statement by the end of this tournament that there is absolutely no question we're the best team here.
I think there's extra motivation, right? Because we look at maybe a last chance for a gold medal for the likes of Megan Rapinoe, obviously Alex Morgan, Kristen Press, Carly Lloyd, Tobin Heath. They're all, all of those players are 32 years of age or older. So this may be their last Olympics. And I feel like they really will want to go out with a bang, especially given what happened in Rio last time out. And for me, that is all adding up. We've seen some of the performances in the friendly games ahead of this tournament, obviously impressed massively. The system, just the way that they can lead this team without seemingly having to get out of second gear in some of these games is obviously fantastic. But it does fill me with a little bit of, okay, the Olympics is going to be a step up when you look at, Sweden and Australia playing them in the group stages, and then potentially, Great Britain, which is mostly England's team, which have caused the US some problems in recent tournaments, and in Canada and Japan, Brazil. There's some very good teams, the Netherlands as well. There's some very good teams in this tournament. But do you think that is extra motivation for those experienced players? Go, okay, one more time, let's do it. Let's, put aside any naysayers from last time out in the Olympics, and let's really go out on a high.
You don't want your last international tournament to not be a victory. You don't want to go out without that celebratory moment, without the gold medal around your neck once again for a number of these players. So yeah, they're going to try to go out with a bang. Another name to throw into that group, Becky Sauerbrunn, captain, leader, I mean, legend, one of my all-time favorite U.S. women's national team players, just for the way that she conducts herself on and off the field, leads the team there at center back. It's just great when you have that authoritative figure at center back. There's something about it that just sets the tone for the rest of the team. And she's always been that player for a long, long time. Even when she was young and first coming into the women's national team, she was immediately that figure. And so, you can throw her name in there into that mix as well. I do think at the end of the term, we are saying, one final gold medal for this U.S. women's national team, for that group of legends that you just mentioned. But they are going to have to work for it. It's going to be difficult because, like you say, the game in Europe especially has come on leaps and bounds, and we're seeing a ton more investment in the women's leagues in major European nations, and that's a great thing. I know it's more competition for the U.S. at international tournaments, but again, that is a very, very good thing.
Absolutely. There's some good young players coming through the ranks for the U.S. women's national team who will be on show here. Macario, obviously, is the one that stands out. Davidson in defense as well. And that, for me, is probably one of the most exciting things. We all know how great the experienced veterans are, and how they're superstars and have been for a long, long time now. But seeing that next generation and next wave of players coming through, it is going to be almost as exciting for me watching the US at the Olympics this summer. So, of course, across the platforms at NBC Sports and at Pro Soccer Talk at NBCSports.com, we'll keep you updated with the US women's national team's progress in Tokyo this summer. Obviously, one of the favorites to win the gold medal, and that would be something to see this incredible group of players, for most of them capping off their careers by being on top of the podium in Tokyo. Looking forward to that one, Andy.